Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the Gundam card game. Today I'm going to be giving you a deck profile for the deck I would say I am the most excited to play, the new deck I'm the most excited to play at the moment. As the time of this recording, that obviously things may change. We are very, very early on in the format. But before we get into it, not sure when you're seeing this, but if my giveaway is still open, I'm giving away 3 copies of my in-depth meta masterclass on Metafy to the Set 2 meta. It's going to be updated weekly with all sorts of new deck lists and tournament results and all that sort of stuff, my own analysis and all those cool things. Then you should really go and check out my case opening for set 2, where I'm giving away 3 copies of that guide. But if you do not want to enter, or if the giveaway is already closed, you should check the link in the description and pick up the guide, because I think it's really, really good. I've already put like 2 hours of content on there or something, just when you're seeing this, and it's literally week 1 when I'm recording this. So loads and loads of value to be had. But let's go ahead and just get into the deck profile, and this is for, as I'm sure you will have seen from the thumbnail, red purple. And I would say this is the deck I'm the most excited for, because I've just had the most fun playing with it. It's kind of become what red blue kind of wanted to be, and red blue is actually a whole separate discussion that I will have later. But I think red has really come into its own in this set. There is a lot to like, a lot of really, really scary cards. And I have been enjoying playing this kind of more control-y style deck a lot in the game. So we will begin with, first of all, concession to aggro. And don't worry, I will be blinging this deck out. You'll see it's very much not in the stage just yet, stage that it's fully blinged just yet, but it's coming, don't worry. So we're playing 8 weenies. The reason we're playing this is, I think you need to be able to just trade into board. You need to be able to like get those value trades. You need to be able to just apply pressure in the late game. And without the weenies, I've just found the aggro matchup is really, really rough. Just like you're trying to just keep that board under control, not take too much damage, and then you stabilize, and then it's very, very hard for aggro to actually do anything. Equally against the longer, the decks that go longer, you want to have the weenies so you can apply pressure. So they're just good. 8 I found has been fine. We're not trying to giga aggro rush like other decks, but you definitely do want to see them. And if you're wondering why they're red, that will matter when we come on to the pilots. But that was a specific choice. On to the level 3s, and we have 4 copies of a new card, Gundam Barbatos First Form. This card is nuts, and it's one of our only forms of plussing, but I have found that it has been really, really strong. So on attack, if it's damaged, you draw 1. It's a 3/2. It links with Mikazuki August. So obviously, when you link it, you're going to be able to get the draw, but you can also get the draw when you ping it down with other damage, or if it somehow takes a ping from one of your opponent's effects, though that very rarely happens. Really, you are turning on the draws yourself, and honestly, like resolving this even once or twice a game is kind of enough to give you that really nice card advantage. Sometimes you can get in situations where you're able to trigger multiple of these, and that feels insane, especially when you're putting pilots on them. But yeah, card is very, very good, absolutely the best level 3 2-drop in the deck. And then we've got 2 copies of Haman's Gaza Sea. Again, as I mentioned, this is red, and that was a purposeful choice. You'll notice I'm not playing the Riesel clone. You could play the Riesel clone. I think that's totally fine. I have been liking Haman's Gaza Sea just as a kind of way to to sort of ping down aggro decks. It can be paired with anything. So if you put a Mikazuki on this, that's felt really good actually, because even if you don't get to attack with it, you get to deal 2 damage to a weenie. So you get to kill a weenie basically, which is big, and that's what you want to be doing. The space is really tight in this deck, honestly. It's very hard to find a lot of space. There's a couple of things I'm experimenting with, and so this could go up to 3 or 4 copies, but yeah, I've been very happy with where this has been performing at 2. Might bump it a little bit, but yeah, mainly here because it's red, which matters for various reasons, and because of the useful unplayability. Linking it with Haman very rarely happens, and it feels pretty bad when you do, to be honest. So I'm generally putting other pilots on this, so it's good that this is generic when paired. Okay, 3 copies of Baby Kshatriya. Now, this is maybe a controversial card to be putting in this deck, but I have found this has actually been really good in this set because we just have a bunch more Cyber New type pilots, in particular Haman, and this becomes a 5/5 with any of them. And it's just really solid, like 5/5 on attack ping with a when you put Merida onto it. It's actually been really good, and I've been finding the card quite nice. It's also a 3/4, nice against like wing and stuff like that. It's cheap. It combos really well when you're trying to flood out play a bunch of things. Just I found the units to be really solid. I've enjoyed playing it, and it's red, which again matters. We'll come on to that more. just a cheeky one-off of Sugai's Galgug. This could go, but I've found that at the moment it's unclear how big the format's going. But if the format's big, this card is crazy. This just gives you a bunch of like extra reach. You're really not trying to play it on curve ever. It's just kind of a late game thing that sometimes it comes down and it's really good. So I've just been experimenting with it at 1. I also only have 1 alt up, but don't worry about that. Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I could see it going up. I could see it getting cut. I just kind of a thing I've been trying out. Okay, then we've got 4 copies of the card I probably underrated the most in my initial reviews, and that is Gundam Fusion Remake. This card is ridiculous. Blocker, deploy, ping one of your units, ping one of your opponent's units. 3/5. 5 HP is so big. 3 attack is very meaningful. The ping lets you, so this will let you turn on Barbatos. Usually you're just going to throw the ping onto something that's going to die anyway, so it doesn't even matter if you're just going to trade it in. So it's usually just a free ping. You'll notice just like the sheer quantity of ping as we now move up into the later stage of the deck, but like it feels almost like everything in this deck pings, which is like crazy. But yeah, this is a really, really strong card, like absolutely one of the best cards in the deck. And sort of similarly, our level 5 lineup is just absolutely stacked when we have Kshatriya as well. And we know how good Kshatriya is. We've seen it before. Linking this card on curve is like one of the best plays in the game. Arguably better than Armor Link. I mean, it's up there is my point. Yeah, just a really, really strong card. Also, the big thing is with every single pilot in the deck. Oh, not every single. That's not true. Sorry. With both red pilots in the deck, you do gain the ability. So even if you don't link, you still do get the ping 3, which oftentimes is enough anyway. In the early game, like on curve, you are just trying to get like 2 damage onto something that's active anyway. So yeah, I found that this has been like 90% when you put Haman onto it, which has been really, really good. Okay, now maybe a bit of spice to Sinanju. This might increase, but I basically found that the only way this deck was struggling is we didn't really have a great way to get through lots of blockers. And I found actually Sinanju kind of does that amazingly well. And not only that, but Sinanju also is kind of a win con against 1 Year War. Because if you stick it and they just don't have an out to it, they kind of can't play anything ever again because you just delete it for free. I found this is genuinely a matchup breaking card. It's very expensive. It doesn't link with anything. I don't know if I can justify more than 2 copies, but it's really good. So yeah, I think this is definitely one of those aha moments when I put it in the deck and I was like, oh wow, this has massively changed the game in a lot of different ways. But yeah, very, very powerful card. I'm not playing full frontals, but you'll see, like based on the list, just what value am I really getting out of it. So, but yeah, really, really good. And then finally, 3 copies of Quibbly. And again, a lot of these ratios may change. Right now, I'm on 3 copies of Quibbly. It could swap around. Like this could be 2. But yeah, this card is absolutely crazy. When linked, you gain suppression for the turn. So this is one of the things you're going to have to be aware of, where suppression will just kind of come out of nowhere. You might not be expecting it, and it could be really scary. And also, as long as it's paired with an Eozeon pilot, which is most pilots, you also get to ping 2 damage to an enemy unit. So again, you kind of get that thing where you are just doing a load of extra damage. Not everything in this deck is super redundant. Sometimes things are a bit awkward. But honestly, like that extra ping, and obviously when you link command, delete one of your opponent's units, suppression 2, it feels like absolutely ridiculous. But I could see this going down to 2, and there's a bunch of places where you can see small little changes and just shoring up of different points in the curve. But yeah, I found this to be really, really solid. I mean, obviously, basically the big issue in this deck is consistency because you have no real draw power outside of Barbatos First Form, which is hardly the best draw power in the world, but it's definitely not bad. Okay, so that's it for the units. Let's now move into the pilots. So this is maybe where there's a bit of controversy. So we'll start off with 4 copies of Merida. I think because I'm on Baby Cash, you kind of have to be on for Merida. It links with this. It links with Kshatriya. It also goes very well onto any of these. So you definitely want multiple copies of it. It's just generically very solid. So yeah, card's great. 4 copies of Mikazuki, so only links with Barbatos, but honestly, this is just a spell that lets you ping stuff. It's just been great. The biggest downside of this card is it's got the shittest traits in the fucking world. Like they balanced it because it doesn't have any relevant traits at all. It doesn't have a new type. Doesn't have mainly new type. Doesn't have a bunch of stuff. But yeah, big deal. But this card is great. You love linking it with Barbatos. You love sticking it on basically anything. It changes the maths like massively. It just gives you extra ping. So we got a bunch of ping pilots, and then obviously finally 3 copies of Haman. And again, like ratios could change here, but there's a lot of pilots already. I've put 3 of Haman because I definitely want to see Marita. I want Marita more because I want this. Ideally, I want to be able to attack with this, and I'm also playing this. So like it's kind of a compelling reason to want to be on for Marita versus for Haman, and the Queebly is so late game anyway. But also this is just a spell, right? Like, and this is the big thing. The unit needs to be on red, so you can see this is why I'm prioritizing red units as much as I can to turn on that Haman ping. The biggest issue is obviously the level needs to be equal to or lower than, so that is a big restriction. And it does mean that this isn't as busted as it might otherwise be, but when it's going on stuff like this, it's functionally the same thing. Okay, and then finally we have bases. So we have 4 copies of Shuji's Hideout. This is sort of a big new base that I found has been very, very good. Just this one little ping has been like incredibly annoying in a good way. It's been really, it's just been very relevant. It lets you just snipe out units. It lets you just do a bunch of good stuff. It's kind of just the best base. You're not really trying to aggro, so Visalis isn't great. All the purple bases kind of suck. There are a couple of other red bases that are options, and I'm actually playing 2 copies of another one, which is Guadin. So why am I playing this? Because it's kind of our only draw power, so I do feel like 6 bases is justified. And this is, if you really squint, it's kind of like Unforeseen Incident, but a bit more expensive. You do get a base with it, right? And it's level 4, but you add a shield to your hand, and then you can pitch 1 and draw 1, right? So it's kind of Unforeseen Incident-y a little bit, and that's again why we have so many red cards, in order to also make sure this is good. I don't know how good this really is. Is something I am really just experimenting with, but it's definitely not a bad card. I'll tell you that much for free. And finally, 2 copies of Battle of Aces. Put that there. Because this card has really been unlocked with the set, and this may absolutely increase. I don't know if it will. Need to experiment more, but like the way this just nukes stuff out of existence now is pretty nice when you have so much pinging. But yeah, so that is the list. I think there's a bunch of things that could change. There's a bunch of really good options in red at various points in the curve that like you'd want to try. It's really hard to figure out like the ideal list here. But I think slowly this is getting there. I'd say it's like 70% of the way there, probably 70 to 80% of what a red purple list will end up looking like. I think the fundamentals are largely there here. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel for lots more Gundam card game content. Obviously, do check out the giveaway or check out the guide, which will be linked in the description. And stay tuned for lots more videos. See you guys in the next one. Cheers.